Hi, you're listening to This Is Not Your Practice Life. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friends. I'm a certified life and emotional intelligence coach. And if you really want to step into your highest self, there are a few non-negotiables you're going to have to learn, and I am just the person to help you do it. No matter your past, I'm here to help you create a more fulfilling future. So stick around with me. Not only will I teach you how to navigate your brain's daily mind drama, but I'll help you actually understand your mind, your emotions, why you do the things you do, and why others do the things they do. Most importantly, I'll help you build the self-awareness skills to create whatever results you want. It's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. After all, this is not your practice life. Hello, friends. Happy Monday, and welcome back to another episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving if you do celebrate, and a fun Black Friday if you get out in all the shenanigans. I hope you got some deals that were worth it if you did get out. My husband and I stayed home. We had a very low-key Thanksgiving, which honestly is just what I needed. I celebrated with family about a week prior, so our actual holiday this year was very low-key, relaxing, peaceful, and that was wonderful. So today I want to share with you a concept that I kind of give an example of in one of my mini programs. And the reason that I want to share this with you is because, as you guys maybe know, if you are, weekly listeners to the podcast, I am in the middle of what I would call a launch in business whenever you are getting ready to bring something to your audience, like a big program, or you're getting ready to release something new. It's called a launch. And so right now I am in a launch period where I'm sending out different emails and different teasers and different marketing and talking about it on the podcast like I am here. And I wanted to bring to your attention something that I think is really important that I do just kind of mention in one of my mini programs. And the reason that I wanted to bring it up on the podcast is because I want to give you kind of some food for thought to think about, especially if you're not already doing this in your life. I think it's very, very important. And if it's something that you resonate with and know that you maybe need to do this on a deep level, especially if you're ever wanting to engage in any of my programs, really in general, but especially what I have coming down the pipeline, it's really important to kind of understand this. So in my mini program, it's called Elevated EQ, your self-concept blueprint. We coach on self-concept. And self-concept is really like how you view yourself, how you think of yourself, what you want, who you are, how you would describe yourself, how you show up for yourself. Like, it's really the full embodiment of who you desire to be. So you can think of it as like highest self-work. You can think of it as skills that you still want to obtain, things you still want to learn, things you want to do, experiences you've maybe not had that you want to have. All of it can wrap up into how you view yourself, carry yourself, take actions in your daily life. All of that is your self-concept. And so that is what that mini program, Elevated EQ, is all about. I help my clients get super clear on their self-concept. And we have some different methods for doing that. But there is a portion of the program where I talk about the reason you want to nail down your self-concept is because nailing down all of the details of your self-concept in every category. So when I say every category, I literally mean, how do you want to feel in your life mentally and emotionally? How do you want to show up for yourself physically when it comes to your physical being, like how you take care of yourself, what your health looks like, what you do actively, or anything that revolves around your physical health. Money, what kind of money do you want to be making? Career, what kind of career do you want to have, or are there other career choices you would have chosen if you felt like you had the support, if you felt like, you could just change something without limiting beliefs and it wouldn't be that hard. Like all of these areas are what I'm asking my clients in the mini program Elevated EQ. So career, money, mental health, emotional health, physical health, your self-care, how you dress, how you show up to your relationships, friendships, family, your immediate family, but then it can even be like your mom, dad, sisters, brothers, how you show up in parenting, motherhood, if you're a dad, fatherhood. I mean, there's just so many different areas for us to address within our self-concept. Skills you want to learn that you don't feel like you have yet, education for yourself that you want to obtain, like all kinds of things, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you dress, all of this makes up your self-concept. And one of the things that I share with my clients in that program is that thinking about their self-concept in a very specific way should be something that they want to do, because it's essentially like programming a beeper. So back I can remember in the early 90s, my papa, he never had a cell phone, but he had a beeper for work. And I can remember like them beeping his little beeper and then him knowing like he needed to go in, call his boss, see what was needed, and then report to work a lot of times. And I don't know why, but I was telling a client this when we were at a retreat in Mexico. I was just giving examples of the importance of this work. We were talking about it in terms of like romantic relationships, right? So if you are someone that has maybe been through a divorce and you're curious of if you'll ever be with someone ever again, or maybe you're dating, things like this, you even want your self-concept to be clear around what you want romantically if you don't already have that. And even if you are in a relationship, you want that to be clear so that you can communicate your needs, you can communicate what's important to you, you can, open the floor for vulnerability and dialogue and all of the things that you desire in your relationship, so that you can figure out if that's feasible, what you maybe need to change, what you need to, share with your person that you love so much, what things you can work on together. There's just so many reasons why nailing down our self-concept is important. And I was explaining to this client, like the equivalent is like programming a beeper. So I imagine this imaginary beeper that when you're very clear on every single thing within your self-concept, you're essentially programming that beeper. And the reason that is so important is because you want, when you're navigating life as who you desire to be, you want to be so clear that anytime you get off path to where you desire to go, there is a really loud beeping that goes off internally in your system. So if you have programmed your metaphorical beeper with everything that you want out of your life, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, career-wise, family, friends, romantic relationships, self-care, how you carry yourself, what skills you want to learn, your education, like all of these areas, when you are so incredibly clear, okay, you now have a programmed beeper that knows all of your heart's desires, your mind's desires, everything that's important to you, what matters to you, all of it, okay? From there, anytime you're not on path, anytime you're not taking actions, or you are taking actions that would lead you down a different direction from what you programmed in your metaphorical beeper, it will send your brain a ringing, right? Like a beep, 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 beep. Like that's how I think of it. It will go beep, 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 beep. And you will know if you are actually embodying your self-concept in that moment or you are not. Now, the reason that this is important is because a lot of people go through life never, ever programming their beeper. They just go with the flow. They live in the mundane. They get stuck on autopilot. If you ask them what they want or who they are, what matters to them, what's important to them, they might be able to tell you a few things. But day to day, they really don't know. And so when big emotions happen, if you're not equipped with the emotional intelligence skills, you will immediately get taken off track. And then it becomes more frustrating and you'll get in cycles and patterns that you don't like. So to break these cyclical patterns or the things that you don't like, you have to know where you're going. You have to be able to see the target you're aiming for. And the equivalent is essentially like once you've gotten really clear on everything, it's like programming a beeper. So you can think of it as like being very clear on everything that you want, being stuck on a target and being able to see it so clearly, you know, when you aim a dart, you're going to land somewhere in exactly what you want, versus when you don't, it's like, okay, now I've got to redirect. I've got to stand in a different place. I've got to do something differently. I've got to, throw harder. I've got to throw softer. Like, you want clarity around the things that you want. You want clarity around who you want to be. You want clarity around the goals that you have, because without it, you're really just walking into the abyss, okay? And really, whatever life hands you in those moments, and again, whatever emotions arise, like, you will ultimately succumb to those emotions and to your circumstances, as opposed to feeling very powerful in where you're going, how to pivot, how to problem solve. So, if this kind of stuff is important to you, if you're like, I know that I don't know exactly what I want, or I have an idea of what I want, but I don't really know how to get there, or I feel like I could be so much more clear on what I want if someone would help me figure out like how to even do that. Like, how do you even do that? If any of these are questions swirling in your brain as you're listening to this, I want you to know that is what the mini programs are for. Elevated EQ, your self-concept blueprint, helps you get clear on programming your beeper or programming your target. Super, super clear. Like, clients will fill their stuff out and then they will send it to me and I will critique it. Like, no, this is not clear enough. No, you need to get more specific here. Here's what's happening here. What do you mean you don't understand how to do this category here? Or like, let's brainstorm. Okay, so it's me helping them get really, 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 really clear on what's being programmed in their beeper or put on their target, so that they actually know where their target is and how to hit it, or they actually know when their beeper is going off and they're going in a completely opposite direction than where they need to be going. Then the next mini program is called Threshold, okay? And Threshold's mini program is what teaches you how to show up for that self-concept you've designed, how to show up so you know what to do when your beeper is going off, and you know when you're on track and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. And you understand when your brain gets off track, why it's doing that, what's coming up for you, how to problem solve it. So both of these programs together not only help you program your beeper or your target, but then how to stay on track with it. And that's where the lasting change that a lot of people want in whatever kind of category happens. Okay, so what these mini programs are doing are preparing you very foundationally for the most important skills, knowing who you are and what you want, and knowing what you're going to do to get there. And if you aren't doing the things that you need to be doing, why you're not doing them. That is so freaking important. Okay. And then if you love this work and you're ready to take it to the next level, that's when you need to keep your eyes on what I'm doing and what I'm creating and what I'm going to be announcing December 16th. But here's the caveat. Before I announce what I'm doing and what's coming on December 16th, and it's big, right? I've been working on this privately for about 1.5 years. Before you get to know what it is, you have one last opportunity to enroll in one or both minis, whether you've taken one and not the other, or you need both. You have until December 12th to enroll into those mini programs. They're not going to start until January and February. Okay, so I want you to be able to like enjoy December. I want you to be able to fully be present for Christmas and for anything you celebrate with your family, all the fun of the holidays, whatever it is. But starting in January, you're going to start your year with these mini programs, whether you need one or both. I think it is the Threshold that starts January 6th, if I remember correctly. And then Elevated EQ will start, or I think it's around February 3rd or something like that. Don't quote me because I could be just slightly off on my dates. But with that being said, you have to be signed up for them by December 12th. When you sign up for them by December 12th, you'll get started in 2026 on these mini programs, and they will end just a couple weeks before the big new advanced program starts. Okay, and I'm announcing what that big new advanced program and all the goodies and all the things December 16th. Okay, so just make sure if you haven't done the minis and you want to set yourself up for doing the work next level, deeper, more specific, more targeted, lots of just cool things coming, make sure you've signed up for the mini program that you need, or both. If you haven't taken either, you have to have both in order to qualify for the advanced one. And you have until December 12th. Once you've signed up before December 12th, then I order your workbook, all of your materials, and my job is to get them to you in the hustle and bustle of the holidays. I want them to get to you ideally before Christmas or right after Christmas so that you have them by the new year. And so that's why you have to be signed up for one or both by December 12th. Okay? So that's what I want to tell you. Let's program your beeper. Let's help you get really clear on your target, everything that you want in life, every single category. There's going to be some categories you're already satisfied with that are great. There's going to be others where you're like, ooh, I need to get more specific, or, maybe I need to tweak this, or haven't even thought about this or what I want. And I want to let you know that this process is so much fun. Like, my clients love elevated EQ and the threshold. They love it. It is so much fun. There's so many epiphanies. It's not something that I make super, super serious. The work itself is serious, yes, so that we can actually get you results that you want. That's the seriousness of it. It's like, I don't take your self-concepts lightly, and I don't take your action plans that you're creating lightly, because I want you to get results. There's no point in paying money and then not getting results, right? So I do take it serious in that way, but I make the content that you're learning and the whole process very fun so that it sticks with you forever. So that way, even if you never do the next level of work, that this level takes you as far as you want to go. And then if you want to go further with it, you can. And that's just going to be so much fun because I've got so many surprises. Okay? So sign up for the minis by December 12th. And I can't wait to have you. It's going to be so much fun, I promise, and it's going to serve you so well. Let's program your beeper. Oh, and one last thing, just in case you are someone who listens to this podcast episode and the mini programs have already passed, right? You're late to the party. Just in case that happens, just make sure you still go to my website and get yourself on the wait list so that if they run again, or when they run again, you can make sure to catch them, okay? So there's a lot of pros coming by being in sooner rather than later. I'm not going to go into too many details, but I will just tell you, by getting in sooner rather than later, you have an upper advantage for sure. However, if you're somebody, again, that finds me late, you're listening to this late, and you happen to go to the website and you see, dang it, I missed the deadlines, shoot, I want to be in that. Just make sure you're signing up on my email list or on the wait list so that way you don't miss the next time, okay? But if you do listen to this and it's not December 12th yet, 2025, you still have time. I highly, highly, highly encourage that you just bite the bullet and you sign up. I promise you won't regret it. And if you haven't taken either mini program and you buy both at the same time, you can get a bundled deal for $300 off. So you can get both programs for $797. Okay. So we'll program your beeper and I will teach you how to actually take action on them and hold yourself accountable and follow through. Okay. That is all. I'll see you all next week. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. If you'd like to connect on social media, you can find me on both Instagram and Facebook at Macy Renee Coaching. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my offers, announcements, and inspirational emails, you can join my email list at macyrenee.com. In addition, if there's a way that I can further support you in your coaching journey, you can schedule a free 60-minute consult at macyrenee.com anytime you want so we can discuss the best options for you. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have an amazing day.